subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any video from my channel.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Techronic Fox. In today's video, we'll show you the Linux file structure. In one of my previous videos, I already showed you how to install Ubuntu in VMware. If you guys haven't watched that, please do watch that video because it will be easy for you to play around with the Linux file structure. Alright, with that said, let's begin our tutorial. Before understanding the Linux file structure, you must know what is a file system. Suppose there is a cupboard and there are two persons, one is Bob and his mother. They need to arrange the books in some fashion. Whereas Bob wants his books to be arranged in, like his notebooks to be at first on top shelf, followed by his textbook. But his mother, on the other way, she wants the textbook on the top, followed by notebooks. So there's some sort of contradiction which can lead to a different structure, right? So Bob's file structure is a different one and the mom's file structure is also a totally different one. So these file structures are called as file system. To make it a bit clear about file system, a file system stores and organizes data, pictures, videos, music, video, all our data on some media devices like hard disk, DVD, CD, flash drives. Okay, so when I say data, in my previous example, I mean the books. The books in my previous example represents the data and the bookshelf represents the media devices. A file system can be an index or a database. So when the file system acts as a database, it is a collection of all physical location of every piece of data. Whereas if the file system is an index, it addresses these physical locations. So what's the difference? So as we can see, the cupboard or the bookshelf is the complete database where it can hold different pieces of books. Each book is different and each book represents each data, each piece of information. When I mean index, there should be some sort of address for these locations for each book. So when file system acts as an index, it points each and every address of these data. Okay. When does a file system is set up? When you format a device. This is very important. Only when you format a device, a new file system is set up. Examples of file system. While formatting your pen drive, I guarantee that you might have all come across these terms: NTFS, FAT, FAT32, exFAT. So these are different file structures for the Windows operating system. Like that, Linux has also got some file structures like ext2, 3, 4, JFS, RazorFS and XFS. There are many more file structures, but these are the common file structure used by these two operating systems. A basic Linux file system. Why did I mean basic? Because all other file structure are it uses this model. This is the main model for every other Linux file system. So now let's look at some terms associated with these file systems. So as we can see, we have already installed Ubuntu machine. Now let's open Ubuntu machine and I'll explain each and every directories and folders. Okay guys, now we are in the Ubuntu OS, which is a Linux distro. I already mentioned that. We are running the Ubuntu OS in VMware. I have already made a video on how to install Ubuntu desktop in your VMware workstation. Okay, now let's get started. Now as you can see, we have seen the Linux file system, and that's what I'm going to show you with some GUI interface. So now open to my computer's files. Then as you can see, we are at default at the home directory. So this is the home directory, and the home directory consists of these files and folders. Okay, now I'll show you where the home directory is. As you can see, the root directory is here and the home directory is here. Okay, alright. So okay, now let's see the entire structure once again. Now go to my computer. You need to navigate to my computers, press on that, and here we are on the root directory. Why did I mean root? Because you can see a slash here, right? This slash represents the root directory. As you can see, the root directory is always represented by a forward slash, and that forward slash is here, which means this entire folders and directories are in root directory. And in our root directory we can see home here. So when I click home, you have Ubuntu, which is my name, which is my my account name. So once you click on that, there you are, you're back again in the home directory. So now I think it's a bit clear. Okay, now it's just a introduction, because people get confused with this home directory and root directory. That's why I've given a clear explanation on that. Okay, now let's go to computer. As I already said, this is the root directory. The root directory is the starting point of the file system hierarchy, which means the top base user who has all the control of the entire system. So this is the top base user. This particular user can have the entire control on all over the system. So that's what I mean. Now, as you can see, you need to be clear that every device you fit into your desktop will be saved as your folder. For example, every device, let it be your keyboard, your display device, your pen drives, and so on. So every device on your computer is represented by a file or a folder, which I will explain to you a bit later, but you need to be clear with this. Okay, the first folder from the root directory is the bin folder, and I'm going to show you where the bin folder is. As you can see, the first folder is the bin folder. Bin stands for binary, and the programs which lives on your machine, like softwares, etc., all the details of that programs are managed by this particular folder. So this folder contains all the information of your softwares you have installed. Okay, it contains all the details of your executable files. Okay, so you can see these are the executable files, the gears and stuff like that. So these are the executable files. So the bin usually contains these sort of files. Next we'll move on to the boot folder, which is over here, boot folder. And usually this boot folder contains the files needed by the kernel when booting up your machine. So this boot folder has all files needed by the kernel when booting up the machine. It's better not to alter any of these files, because you don't want to get ended up in a nasty bootup process. Next we have the CD-ROM, a CD-ROM folder, but now it's not used because your DVDs, your pen drives all show up, your CD-ROM all show up in this media file right here. Copy, when you insert a new CD-ROM, your media device will have a new folder called the CD-ROM. But now this CD-ROM file is not used, but it's there still. Next we'll move on to dev. Dev is nothing but it stands for devices. So all your keyboard, mouse configuration, all lives in this dev folder. There we go to the etc folder, which is a configuration folder. So any configuration change you want to make in any particular software, then you need to go to this particular software and you need to alter the things, the configuration files present in these folders. Okay. we'll get to this a bit later in our future videos. Next, the home. I already showed you. The home folder usually has all the user accounts of the system. So my account name is Ubuntu, that's why it's showing Ubuntu folder. So when I click here, I'll go back to this home folder. Right. Next we have lib and lib64. Usually these two folders are like, you know, libraries. Lib stands for library. So this is for, you know, the 32-bit libraries, and this is for the 64-bit library. So they both are like, you know, some sort of like DLLs in Windows. So Windows use DLLs as library. So like that, your Ubuntu machine uses files from this lib folder. Okay, then we have the, you know, the media, which I already told you is the combination of floppies and, you know, CDs, etc. Then we have the OPT, which is usually optional folder. OPT stands for optional. Optional in the sense, you know, basically some sort of a priority less programs are kept in this optional optional folder. Then we have the TMP, which stands for temporary. So temporary files are stored here. Usually the, you know, all the temporary files are stored here. Usually it's all cleared up when we boot up the system, or we can also use third-party software like CC Cleaner. Okay, now next we'll see the VAR, which stands for variable data. Usually this folder consists of all sort of, you know, logs and temporary files. As you can see, it has the cache, you know, it has, so when your system crashes, you know, all the temporary, you know, log files are stored here. So it gives some information about why your system crashed and things like that. It has all the logs and, you know, temporary backups. So these are the variable data folder. Next we have the SBin. SBin usually stands for system binary. It usually has all the commands for the system. For example, when I open my terminal and when I type some commands, and wait a minute, if you guys don't know what a terminal is like a command prompt in your Windows PC. So it's a place where you can type commands. So all these commands are stored in this system binary SBin. Next we'll see the root user stubs are stored here. Hey guys, you need not, you know, get confused with this root and this root. Actually, I'll just show the chart. So you have this root is the main, it's the topmost level directory, and this root is actually the, you know, root or the administrator account. So this root usually has all the details of the admin account. Okay, so that's what this root stands for, and this root is totally different from that. Next we'll move on to USR. USR stands for Universal System Resource. People sometimes tell this as user, and that's absolutely wrong. It's Universal System Resource, and these folder consists of all the icons and all the GUI, which is graphical user interface of your system, like your, you know, icons and your buttons, stuffs like that. So this folder has all sort of things. And guys, so these are the, you know, Linux file structures, and I think I have explained most of these folders. So in my next video I'll teach you some commands. And for this video, thanks a lot for watching this video.